Let us close the eyes for a moment. With deep love, remembering God and the Masters, offering our prayer. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May God protect us all. May we enjoy food together. May we meditate and pray together. May we attain wisdom through our study and discussions. May there be no conflict, difference of opinions among us. May there be peace within and without. Om. Amen. I bow to formless God. I bow to all the saints and sages of all times and places. Humbly I bow to lineage of Kriya Yoga masters. Feeling presence of divine in each one of you, I bow to you all. Good morning and welcome to our discussion, Sunday Satsang. Today's topic is manifestation of inner world. We are going to discuss a mantra from Mundak Upanishad. In Rig Veda, there is a beautiful hymn, Purusha Sukta, Vedic hymn to cosmic being. And this beautiful prayer, it says that this tangible world is manifested from Purusha, God who is the absolute. What we see outside is the reflection of our inner world. In Mundak Upanishad, in second canto, first chapter, 8th mantra, there is a beautiful description of our inner world manifesting from Purusha. The mantra says, Sapta pranaha prabhavanti tasmat saptarchishah samidhah sapta homaha sapta ime yeshu sapta ime loka yeshu charanti prana guhashaya nihitah sapta sapta. The meaning is that from him, means from the Purusha, formless divinity, come forth these 7 life breaths, prana, the 7 flames, their fuel or firewood, the 7 oblations, these 7 worlds in which moves the life breaths. 7 and 7, so it's all set of 7, which dwells in the secret place of the heart. So it is about the Purusha, formless divinity, staying in the cave of Brahman and manifesting our inner world, which is reflected in the external world. So this is a very beautiful mantra. During initiation ceremony, you might have observed when we chant, when we do fire ceremony. So we chant this mantra with 7 candles or 7 lamps. From this mantra, we can understand our inner world, because this mantra has a metaphorical meaning. First, it is said, Sapta Pranaha. Sapta Pranaha, 7 prana. So here prana means life breath. So 7 pranas are the cognitional senses, like hearing, touch, sight, taste, smell, mind, and intellect. So these are the 7. So 5 cognitional senses plus mind and intellect. So these are the 7 prana. Another way, if you want to interpret in another way, then 7 pranas, they represent here 7 pranic channels. And remember, these 7 pranas are mentioned here, not like our 5 vital breath, like prana, apana, udana, samana, and vyana. It is not that division, but these 7 are different. So the second interpretation is that if you see, we have 2 nostrils, 2 eyes, 2 ears, and 1 mouth. So these are the 7 pranic channels on the face. So these are mentioned by the rishi or sage in this mantra. Sapta prana. So these are the 7 pranic channels. 2 nostrils, 2 eyes, 2 ears, and 1 mouth. And Gurudev explained it very beautifully. That why it is on the face. If you see in our Kriya Yoga book, Shri Gurudev has explained it, that there are 7 sacred crossings which are the doorway between the divine and human being. How? If you see inside the head, so the first crossing, it is from fontanelle to the throat center, because from throat center and above, it is all akasha space. There are 5 spaces here in the cranium, and space begins, the grossest element space or ether is in the throat center. And what are these channels? So this is the first axis from fontanelle to throat center. If you draw this axis, another axis is from in between the eyebrows to the back of your head. This is the second axis. And third is, you see, from one ear to another ear. And from the midpoint of these crossings, there's another axis which is going towards the nose and mouth. So these are the pranic channels. Why it is said sapta prana bhavanti tasmat? Because these, when the prana is manifested on the face, all the expressions through our sense organs, they are manifested because of the prana only. If there is no prana, there is no breath, there is no life. And all these expressions of smell, taste, touch, all these cognitions happen because of that prana. So when it is on the face, it is divided into 7. Through the nostrils, through the eyes, through the ears and mouth, we express through words. So, and word, they're very similar. So every word, every sense is manifesting divinity in the form of these 7 prana, sapta prana, 7 pranic channels. And if we go to the next one, so again, prana here, we should be clear that it is not 5 vital airs. These are the manifestation of prana only, not the prana apana, that division. The senses are called 7. Why it is 7? Because there are 7 openings in the head, which Gurudev has mentioned by these axes. So these 7 openings in the head, which lead the prana to manifest in different forms of expression in our outer world. Then second word is sapta archi. Sapta archishaha. So 7 archi. Archi means flame. Archi means also ray or light. So sapta archi, 7 lights, 7 rays, or you can say 7 flames. Or it is the act of sensation, 7 kinds of functions. So these are different meaning here. 7 kinds of functions, or you can say the perception or the powers of cognition. They are light, which enlightens their object. So in Vedanta, we can see the object, not through these eyes, but it is said that even the modern science has agreed upon this fact that the light rays, they go from the eyes to the object and they reflect, they come back. And because of that, we see the object. So all the senses, they are connected with the sense objects and enlightening them. So the power of senses to manifest their respective objects is known as Sapta Archi. The power of the senses to manifest their respective objects is known as Sapta Archi, 7 flames or 7 lights. Now we can understand it in another way, that Sapta Archi means 7 flames, and the 7 flames are coming from 7 fires. Again, if you remember your Kriya initiation day, your teacher has explained about the chakras. In 7 chakras, there are 7 types of fires, and they are related to different function in the chakras. In the bottom center, Muladhara chakra, there is Dakshinagni. Dakshinagni, fire in the south. Why it is said south? Because human body is like a magnet. Our head is natural north pole. When we are sitting, so our bottom center, it becomes our south pole. Then fire in the south, this fire, Dakshinagni, when it is more strong, then we get desire to earn more money. We want to possess more material comfort. So this is related to finance, our job. So all these activities related to material prosperity is regulated by this center in the Muladhara or bottom center. So when this fire becomes strong, we want to possess more and more. So this is Dakshinagni. Now, if we possess and we do not utilize the resources, then it is called stealing, because we are greedy. But if we utilize the same resources, all our finances, for the charity or benefit of the society, then it is very helpful for our spiritual growth. Then second center, Swadhisthana chakra, has Grahapati Agni. Grahapati Agni is the family fire. And this family fire, when it becomes strong, we get desire to have relationship. We want to have socialization. So we want to socialize with other people. There's nothing wrong in socializing. There's nothing wrong in having relationship. But this relationship with everybody should be cordial. Relationship should be with love and harmony. So when this fire, Grahapati Agni, is balanced, then our relationship with everybody within family or outside family is loving, harmonious with others. Then third is Vaishwanar Agni in the Manipur chakra or navel center. So Manipur chakra is responsible for food activities, to digest our food, to assimilate and distribute it to different parts of our body, giving nourishment. This center, Manipur chakra, also is the chakra or center responsible for our health. So the fire, Vaishwanar Agni, which is called digestive fire, if it is strong, we become hungry, thirsty. But if the fire becomes weak, then we have some health problems. So fire should be balanced. Vaishwanar Agni. Then Ahavaniya Agni is in the heart center, Anahata chakra. Ahavaniya, the name indicates that Avhan, to invoke, to invite, to welcome. What do? We welcome our emotions. We invite love into our heart. We also invite hatred into our heart. And then we are in trouble because these emotions trouble us a lot. So this Ahvani Agni is the emotional fire. When it becomes more strong, we become very emotional. Remember, being emotional may create problem, but having emotions is perfectly normal. When there is more emotion, our life is restless. There is turmoil in our life. Now, fifth center, we call it Samidbhav Agni. Samidbhav Agni is in the throat center, Vishuddha chakra. It has come from two words, Samidh, Udbhav. Samidh means firewood and Udbhav means manifestation. This is called religious fire. When this fire becomes strong in the throat center, we want to go to church, synagogue, temple, we want to read some scriptures, or we want to pray and meditate, because this leads us into righteous path. So religious fire, Samidbhav Agni. In the soul center, we have Brahmagni. Brahmagni is the soul fire. And on top of the head, in fontanel, Vishwarupa Maha-Agni, all-pervading fire of God. So these two fires in the fontanel and soul center, they are spiritual fires. Now, Sapta Archi, so we can say 7 lights, and which is coming from these 7 fires. So these 7 fires should be in perfect balance. Saptarchisa Samidha. Now the next word, Sapta Archi, and after that, so 7 fires are, again I'll explain. Dakshinagni, Grahapati Agni, Vaishwanar Agni, Ahavani Agni, Samidbhav Agni, Brahmagni, and Vishwarupa Maha Agni. Then comes the word Samidha Sapta, 7 types of firewood. So 7 fuels or 7 firewoods are the objects by which the senses are lighted. It is by these objects that the organs of senses are fed. These objects are feeding our sense organs constantly from the external world. So we are taking food from the external world through these senses. So when it says Samidha Sapta, 7 Samidha, when we perform fire ceremony, so we use some firewood. This firewood is known as Samidha. It is not called wood. It has a name, Samidha, because it is holy. And external fire ceremony, when we do, we use different types of firewoods like mango or the wood apple for different purposes. And all these samidhas, they help to create some gases which are normally not found in our atmosphere, and they are good for blood purification and good health. So Samidha Sapta, 7 types of firewoods. What are these 7 firewoods? They are called, one interpretation is 5 elements, mind and prana. 5 elements, mind and prana, they are known as 7 firewood. Sapta, Samidha Sapta. So Samidha, 7 firewoods. 7 firewoods, if you see, they are known as 5 elements. You can say in one way, they are 5 elements: earth, water, fire, air, and space. And these 5 elements are in the 5 lower chakras, plus our mind and the prana. But here prana, which prana? A prana which is pulling us down. Pulling us down means that prana, that subtle prana which is taking our mind towards the lower centers. So that prana is included here in the 7 samidha, because when that prana is moving in the 7, in the 5 lower chakras, then it is engaging us into this external world of objects to enjoy through the senses. So these are the 7 types of firewood. Now 5 elements, apart from that, we can also say there are 5 organs of action and 5 organs of perception. They all are related to 5 elements. That's why we take only 5 elements plus mind and the prana, which is pulling our mind or consciousness down towards the lower chakras. Then the second word, next word is Saptahoma. Saptahoma means, Sapta means 7, Homa is the fire ceremony. Externally, we perform fire ceremonies on many occasions like Gurudev's birthday or our foundation day of the ashrams, in which we offer oblation with the clarified butter, ghee, and some herbs. So 7 homas, 7 types of fire ceremonies. What is this fire ceremony? Not the external one. In the Jnana Sankalini Tantra, verse number 55, there is a beautiful explanation of the Homa. Homa means the fire ceremony or sacrifice. न होमम होमम इत्याहुः समाधौ तत् तु भूयते ब्रह्माग्नो हूयते प्राणम होम कर्मम तदुच्यते. The real fire ceremony is that in which we offer our prana. Prana means every breath we offer to Brahmagni. Brahmagni is where? In the soul center. So we offer it in the fire, and with that we attain samadhi. That is real fire ceremony, and this is called inner fire ceremony, inner homa. And we are constantly performing it because every breath is like an offering to God. When we are breathing in and out, it's like offering oblation into the soul fire to God. So this is real fire ceremony. Now, how we perform 7 fire ceremonies? Sapta Homa. Sapta Homa, if you see in the 7 chakras. So from each chakra, when you're taking a breath, offering it to God in the cranium or in fontanelle, because Brahmagni is in the soul center and then Vishwarup Mahagni. So God who is formless in the fontanelle. Every breath from each chakra is taken, inhalation, we offer it to God in the fontanelle. This is one offering. So from 7 chakras, when we offer 7 breaths, that is the Sapta Homa. Now, which technique? You remember it. The last technique in our first Kriya set, Jyoti Mudra. So this is 7 Homa we are performing. Now, what is the significance? Significance is that from each chakra, we take all our negative tendencies because each chakra has both aspects. It has some positive qualities, it has some negative tendencies. So negative tendencies, whatever we have, for example, the Muladhara chakra or bottom center, it is the money center. So too much of money leads to evil. Too much of money takes us in the wrong way if our mind is not purified. So money is good, but how to use it? We become greedy, become possessive. So this is a negative trait. Not sharing with others whatever we have. So all this, and second center, we are having too much of attachment with our relations. Love everybody unconditionally, no doubt. But to be attached with someone, it creates more problem in our life. In the navel center, it is food center. So having too much of attachment with food or a particular taste, I want to eat this, I don't want to eat this. So this type of likes and dislikes related to food, this is negative tendency. Food is God. In Taittiriya Upanishad, it is said, Annam Brahma iti vyajanat. Know or understand that God, the food is God. So when food is God, you offer it to God with prayer. Where is like and dislike? Whatever comes, it is all prasad. It is consecrated food from God. So in this way, in heart center, negative tendencies, positive tendency in heart center is the love, compassion, kindness. Negative tendency is the hatred, jealousy. And in the throat center, our negative tendency is pride, ego of knowledge. I know more than others. So that brings us brings our downfall. So like this, in each center, all the negative tendencies, when we are taking a breath, offering it to God like a homa in the fontanelle, so we take all negative tendencies, give it to God as an oblation into the fire, and we come back with positive tendencies, with power of God again from the front side to the same center. This is the Sapta Homa from each center. And even if we are not meditating, every breath we are taking with God consciousness is like an oblation, continuous fire ceremony which we are performing unknowingly. The next is Saptahoma. Saptahoma, after that comes. So this is the Homa by which we attain realization, not just breathing in and out without being conscious of divinity is only breathing. But when we are conscious of divinity and taking breath, offering as an oblation to divine, then it is fire ceremony, and this fire ceremony, inner fire ceremony, leads us to self-realization, samadhi. The next word is saptalokaha. Saptalokaha, 7 planes of existence or 7 worlds. So these are the 7 worlds, 7 seats of sense life. That is the seats or the places of the senses where prana move. Prana is there and it is moving throughout the body. So when the prana is moving through the place of particular sense which is connected to the chakra also, then this is the world. So 7 world, 7 lokas or planes of existence where the prana move is intended to exclude the vital layers. Again, when we say prana moves, it's not those 5 divisions of prana, prana, apana, udana, samana, vyana, that is not connected here. So these 7 worlds, saptaloka, are the 7 nerve centers of the senses, without which the external senses cannot by themselves perform their respective functions. So when the senses are performing some function, these nerve centers are responsible for that. They are the saptaloka. Now again, if we discuss the metaphor behind it, what are the saptaloka? These are the 7 planes here. In the human body, if we see, there are 7 planes above the bottom center to fontanelle, and there are 7 in our from thighs to feet. So those are lower planes of existence which we don't consider because they are more related to animals. So we are related to, or we are focused on the 7 planes of existence, loka, above. So what are these? If you see in the bottom center, bhuloka, bhu. Then second center is bhuvaha loka. Navel center is swahaloka. Heart center is mahaloka. Throat center is janaloka. And soul center is satyaloka, maha, jana. Then soul center is tapaloka. And in the fontanelle is the satyaloka. So bhu, bhuvaha, swaha, maha, jana, tapa, and satya. So these are the 7 planes of existence. Now, when we talk about these 7 planes, they are related to the chakras. And in these 7 chakras, these 7 subtle planes of existence are there. When a person leaves the physical body, then the soul, along with subtle body, causal body, mind, and memory, it transmigrates from one plane to other. So subtly, there is journey of soul, which we discussed in one of our retreats. From Bhuloka, Bhuloka is the earth planet where we all live. Then Bhuvaha is the plane of existence where our ancestors live. Then Swahaloka, then more advanced beings are there. And Mahajana Tapa, those who have attained self-realization, they go up from the Mahaloka, heart center and above, and they stay there, like Shri Yukteswarji. After his physical departure, when he manifested, when he resurrected to Paramahansa Yoganandaji, he said, I am staying in Hiranyaloka. So Hiranyaloka is in the above somewhere. However, so 7 lokas in which our prana move, because prana is constantly moving in the chakras and also in these lokas, in these planes, subtle planes. When the prana is moving down the chakras, it takes our consciousness to the world. And when prana is moving up in the chakras, it takes our consciousness to the divine, because consciousness and mind, they are elevated. And that is what we try to do in Kriya Pranayama. Our mind is flowing downward because of the prana moving towards the lower centers. So when we want to elevate it, we practice Kriya Pranayama. And with that, our consciousness is elevated and we remain in the cranium. So after that, the word comes Guha Shaya Nihita Sapta Sapta. Guhashaya. What is Guhashaya? Guha means the cave. Ashaya is pool, or then Guhashaya, the cave. And Nihita. Nihita means resting, dwelling upon, or lying during sleep. So Guhashaya means lying in the cave, resting in the heart, or you can say lying during the sleep in the heart. That is Guhashaya Nihita. So that which rests in the cavity is called our intellect. That which is resting in the cavity is our intellect. Now each sense moves in an approximate world of its own, but all the senses are coordinated by the mind, which is located in the heart. Again, heart doesn't mean here the physical heart, but heart means it is the yogic heart I am talking. What is yogic definition of heart? Yogic definition of heart is our brain. Because heart means in Sanskrit, Hr-da-ya. There are three letters, Hridaya. So Hr-da-ya. Ya means that, Hr means receiving, Da means giving. So that which is constantly receiving and giving is known as heart. So physical heart also, the impure blood comes in and the pure blood is supplied. So there is constant exchange. Similarly, brain is also known as heart for yogis. Why? Because in the brain, we are getting all the impulses and they are also transmitted through the neurons to different parts of the body. That means even if we say that subtle mind is there, thoughts are coming and thoughts are going out. So there is constant receiving and giving. That's why brain is the heart for the yogis. So Guhashaya, where is this cave? It is not in the physical heart. This cave is the cave of Brahman. If you see here, Gurudev has explained it in our Kriya Yoga book. The human brain is the kingdom of God, and this is called cave of Brahman. So inside this, you can see all this brain structure, and on top of the head, when we go inside the cranium, means from soul center and above when we go to fontanelle. So this is the cave of Brahman, and we remain in that formless state during Paravastha. So once we move the prana in the 7 lokas or 7 chakras through Kriya Pranayam, then we stay in Guhashaya. So who is sleeping there? Our consciousness or God. So God is sleeping there. That's why Gurudev said that God is constantly breathing from top of the head. So God is in the fontanelle. And so this is the Guhasha, this is the cave where God is hiding. And from there he is functioning by moving prana on the face, in the chakras, in the loka, and connecting through the objects of senses to enjoy this external world. But he is enjoying staying in the cave of Brahman. And you'll say that why fontanelle? So there is a reason. If you again read the Purusha Sukta, which I told in the very beginning, Vedic hymn to cosmic being, it is from the Rig Veda, 10th canto, 90, chapter number 90, verse mantra number 1st and 2nd. And same mantra is mentioned in Atharva Veda, Yajur Veda, and in Shvetashvatara Upanishad also. The mantra is Om Sahasrashirsha Purushaha Sahasrakshah Sahasrapat Sabhumim Vishvato Vratva Atyatishthad Dashangulam Purusha Evedavam Sarvam. So Atyatishthad Dashangulam. It is mentioned there that God, who is called Purusha, this Purusha has thousands of heads, thousands of feet, thousands of eyes. 1000 is a number to indicate infinity, that he is infinite. And he has enveloped this world from all the sides and even transcended it. He has covered this world and transcended this world by 10 fingers above the eyebrows. Now, if you see the same manifestation of prana from Purusha is moving in the face and all the sense objects, chakras and lokas, and all these functions are happening, but despite that, the Purusha has transcended that and staying in the cave 10 fingers above the eyebrows. That's a Dasha Angulam. So if you measure from here 4 and 4, 8 and 2. So where 10th finger ends from the eyebrows, that is the location of fontanel, where God is hiding. Eko Deva Sarvabhuteshu Gudha. Gurudev referred this mantra from Shveta Upanishad. One God who is formless is hiding and constantly breathing. He's Karmadhyaksha. He is the supervisor of all our activities, but he is beyond that. And about the cave of Brahman, what happens if we stay there? When we practice Kriya techniques and we go beyond that and we remain in the fontanel and above in the inner space, the cave of Brahman, which is also kingdom of God mentioned by Jesus, what happens after that? The result is in Shiv Samhita, 5th chapter, verse number 141. Brahmarandre manah dattva kshanardham yadi tishtati sarva papa vinirmukto sa yati paramam gati. If the mind becomes steadily fixed, even for half a second, kshana ardha, at the aperture, the Brahmarandra, which is the fontanel, one becomes free from sins. Sins means the grave mistakes, and reaches the highest end, that means samadhi. So even for half a second, if one can really stay in the fontanel and completely merged with Purusha, the formless divinity, one can experience the state of samadhi. Now this is just a theory, but how to practice, you have been taught the technique to reach there to Guhashaya. So if you see how this beautiful mantra from Mundaka Upanishad is explaining that external world, what we see is nothing but the reflection of whatever we have inside, and how we can go more and more within and attain the state of self-realization by contemplating on this mantra and then meditating upon this mantra, as I explained you with the help of the techniques. So this is about beautiful teachings from Mundaka Upanishad. Thank you very much. There is one question someone has written. Can someone please review the chakras and what each center focuses on for the development? I think part of that we have covered already. The bottom center is the money center. So for our development, we should earn money. We need to survive. Earning money is not bad. What happens in our spiritual life, many times we think that we don't need money. Yes, we don't need money, but for whom? For our own use, we may not need, we may need a very little. But to earn money is not bad. Earn money and give it to those who cannot afford, who cannot take education because they don't have money, those who do not have house. So our money can help others. God has given us capacity to earn. So how do we develop? Don't get attached to the money, but you channelize it for the purpose, benefit of the society. Similarly, relationship, how do we develop? The family and sensual pleasure. These two are the functions of the second center. So not to be too much attached with the family and the relations, because nothing is permanent. We all see, we have experienced that nothing is permanent, everything changes. So in this changing world, when everything is changing, including our relationship, we become really sorrowful and sad. Why? Because we are too much attached. We want to possess. We cannot hold on to anything. We cannot possess anything. So we have to become free from this attachment also, and not to get too much indulge into sensual pleasure, because the sense organs, they always distract us. So long as we are busy with the play of sense organs, we cannot go up. Shri Gurudev said that we have to go beyond the 5 sense telephones if we want to attain self-realization. Then food also, as I said, that moderation in food, yukta ahara, yukta vihara. Gurudev has explained again from Bhagavad Gita. So yukta ahara, how much we should eat, what type of food is conducive to our spiritual practice, that you can choose easily when you meditate, and that is helpful for your development or growth in spiritual life. Similarly, the emotions. Emotions are not bad because we are human beings. We are not stones. We are human beings. We'll have emotions. But to have better control over the emotions, to be free from negative emotions, that is related to heart center development of our heart. And remember, emotions can be transformed easily into devotion. Through meditation, it happens. Similarly, not to have too much pride of knowledge. We should respect all living beings, all religions. We should not be biased. The throat center. This is how we grow. So all the chakras, they have their functions. Money center, family center, food center, then emotion center of emotions, and then center of religion. So in all these aspects, when we meditate through Kriya practice, then we grow spiritually. We go beyond the limitations of the chakras. And by moving the prana through Kriya Pranayam, meditating in Paravastha, we always maintain our consciousness on top. A little attention all the time while performing any action or while breathing. Being conscious of divinity is the key. When we are sitting for meditation, we are conscious, but when we are in the world, we forget. And that's why this inner world, which is manifested inside, it is nothing but the external worlds. They are all correlated. So when we understand and practice, it helps us to grow. Thank you very much. Let's meditate for a few minutes. Please sit straight. Wherever you are sitting, just be relaxed. Close the eyes and gently bring your attention from the external world to the inner world. Introverting the senses and the mind. Concentrate in between the eyebrows. Very gently, you are inside the cranium, the cave of Brahman, Guhashaya. Detached from the external world of objects. Sapta pranaha prabhavanti tasmat. Now, just observe that gross breath is moving from the nostrils up to the lungs, but the oxygen from the lungs going to each cell. This is the subtle breath. And this subtle breath, the prana, moves in all the 7 chakras or lokas. Just observe and become aware of your subtle movement of breath from top of the head to bottom of the spine. Watch every single breath with love. Mind is little more peaceful now. Saptarchisha Samidha Saptahoma. 7 fire ceremonies. Let us perform 7 fire ceremonies. Inside the spine, all the nerve channels are existing. Let us offer all our negative tendencies, attachment to the sense objects. Samidha Sapta. Practicing deep breathing from top of the head to bottom of the spine, up and down. Please inhale, slow, long, deep. Love. Exhale. Peace. Inhale. Love. Exhale. Peace. Inhale. Love. Exhale. Peace. Inhale. Peace. Exhale. Love. Inhale. Peace. Exhale. Love. Normal breath. Just remain inside the inner space of cranium, Guhashaya Nihita. Beyond body, beyond mind, and silently meditate. Blissful state, extreme calmness. सप्त प्राणः प्रभवन्ति तस्मात् सप्तार्चिषः समिधः सप्त होमः सप्त इमे येषु चरन्ति प्राणा गुहाशयः निहिता सप्त सप्त. we'll pray to God and the masters for our spiritual growth and also for everyone who has been suffering in this world due to pandemic, and those who have departed. For all those people, we'll pray to God. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayah, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May all become happy and healthy, loving, noble, and compassionate. May there be no suffering, no sorrow. May there be more love, peace, prosperity, and harmony among us and in this entire creation. May the blessings of God and Masters be upon us all. Om. Amen. I bow to God within each one of you. Thank you all. Open the eyes. Thank you all for joining with us today, and meditate nicely, contemplate on the mantra, teachings of masters, and meditate nicely. I'll see you again sometime. Thank you very much.